Hello, viewers, and welcome to Ask the Experts, where you ask the questions and we answer them. Okay, an expert answers the questions because we can't really trust me with all these questions. And today in the house we have these people deal with your CVs and your applications. She's a HR professional. Her name is Jess. She will introduce herself and then we will shoot your questions at her about the hassle of getting a job. Please.
Thank you very much. So my name is Jess. I'm a HR professional, as you heard, a qualified HR professional. I've been in this professional for about 10 years now, or 11 if we count 2021. My profession dates back to when I was a graduate of human resource. And now we are in consultancy. I work with Optimum TMC as the CEO and founder of Optimum TMC. What we do human resource consultancy that encompasses everything: recruitment, training, and HR strategic moves. So we deal with both clients and, of course, job seekers. Yes.
Wow. Yeah. And in these times when getting a job, even keeping one right now, honestly, we know. So what about getting a job? But it's been forever a problem. So you gave us your questions and here they go. So question number 1, Jess. Experience is key when seeking a new job. I know about this. 5 years experience. So someone is asking, being a fresh graduate, how do I jump that hurdle and secure a job?
The number one thing you need to know is that recruitment for every company is strategic. I will not recruit if I don't need anybody. And one of the reasons why we put experience as one of the most important hurdles to jump for you to get a job is because experience comes with more than your skill set. It comes with you being able to interact with fellow employees. Can you be able to take orders? Can you be able to work unsupervised? And that will come with experience. So how do you gain that experience when you're a fresh graduate? Well, I know we don't like hearing it. The millennials don't like hearing it. But internship and volunteering is the only way to get that experience. We are not trying to test you on your skill set. You probably are very, very good. Some of you are very, very good as compared to us. Your computer survey, you know things that we don't know. You're able to turn around, you know, things as maybe twice as fast as we are not able to do. However, do you know how to interact with other people? Do you know how to come to work early? Do you know how to dress appropriately in a job environment? You can only know that if you come into an environment where you're forced to be that. So number 1, you have to get into a volunteering setup. It can be paid. Some companies are very, very good. They pay anything between 10 to 40,000. Others are not able to do that, and it is not their fault. It is the industries they are in. So you have to be able to make your choices. You can't have your cake and eat it. So if you really want to be a professional, you need to make some sacrifice. I started as an intern, and look where I am now.
Oh, ask me about it.
Yes.
Lakini Jess.
Yes.
Seriously, most of these vacancies, when they are put up,
yes,
2 years, 5 years experience. Like, okay, do I volunteer for 5 years?
No. See, when you volunteer, it goes into your CV as your volunteering time counts as experience. Yeah. So if I'm in a company, for example, volunteering for 6 months, I'm able to write it on my CV that I have been in this company for 6 months. So at least somebody can be called and say, I worked with Jess and she's a very good timekeeper. And Jess does not works very well under pressure. You know, they're able to explain that to somebody else. So I get somebody to vouch for me.
Okay, a quick one on that one.
Yes.
Now that you've dealt with them, these people that hire, is it always that they're looking for really 5 years experience, or maybe with my 1 year experience, 6 months experience, I might get that job?
We do not waste advertising for jobs, because it's also expensive for a company. When I advertise for a job or I hire a recruiter to recruit for me, I'm paying them, or the corporate is paying the recruiter. So there's no time of bluffing. I want 5 years if I don't want 5 years. They really want 5 years. They want 3 years. They want 10 years. Why? Because the scope of that job is strategic. To them, if you don't have a 5 years experience, you might not be able to handle the pressures that role comes with. So nobody is bluffing when they say 1 to 2 years. Nobody is bluffing when they say 5 years. And nobody is bluffing when they say 15 years. You've got to follow the instructions of any recruiter, unfortunately. I'm sorry, the competition is so high. The Kenyan market is so educated right now.
Yeah.
And so the supply is so high, but we don't have the demand. So what happens is, if you just try in your luck, and some of us are very confident when we do interviews.
Yes.
It has become something we are even taught. Some recruiters, I have seen recruiters say, I can teach you how to interview. So you get into an interview hall and you're so confident and you only have 1 year experience, and somebody is asking for 5 years experience. I'm sorry, if I'm on the other end, I may not be able to pick you, because that 5 years experience, I'm probably looking for something that has happened. Have you been able to be in the 2000 millennial change? Well, did you go through that? Or were you able to handle when we had a slum in the economy? There's something I'm looking for when I'm asking for 5 years experience. Yes.
Your question number 2, Jess. When applying for a new job, which are the key hacks to making my CV win the job for me? And this person was thinking about length and what it must not miss.
Number 1, it cannot miss your name.
Definitely.
It can't miss your name and your contacts. I've seen CVs where they're very, very good, but I don't have contacts. Yes. So I try to look for that person and I cannot call them because there is no mobile phone or there is no email address. The other thing they're making as a mistake, millennials, is to have email addresses that don't make sense, that sound
millennial.
Yes.
The ones they made up in high school.
Exactly. You're Jacinta or you're Jess, but you have a name called ilovemakodofia.gmail.com. I have seen that. I can show you that from my emails. Yes. Others are calling themselves sweetdolly@gmail.com. Now, by the time I'm receiving CVs, when I put out a job, for example, I put out a very operational job, I'll get more than 100 emails, feedback within 30 minutes. So you can just imagine if your email reads Sweet Dolly, with all
already,
that,
you're
kakando already. And I will be very, very honest. Not because I don't feel that I should go through it, but I don't have the time. See, time is a limited resource for everybody in the world. So I don't have the time. I also have other things that everybody else expects me to do. So unfortunately, if you're not serious from the very beginning, I might bypass a very good CV just because you started on the wrong foot. So your name and contacts should always be in your CV. Best CVs are usually less than 2 pages. Short.
But I am experienced. I have been to the moon and back. I have worked in Mars and Jupiter. 2 pages.
I know. Yes, 2 pages. And let me tell you why 2 pages. Because a CV is a brief.
Yeah.
I'll give you an opportunity to come to an interview panel to tell me more about yourself. So a good CV, regardless, I have CVs that are 30 years experience and they're only 2 pages. Just point out what you have done. Now, I have seen, it started in the 2000s when people have feelers. You have 2 jobs, but in that CV, you have written every role that was inclusive of that job. So if you are sending emails, you say sending emails to clients, picking calls, analyzing, paperwork. You tell me every role, coming to work at 9 a.m. in the morning, closing at 5 p.m. Those are feelers. Just the only role I need is the roles that are usually consistent to what is in my recruitment adverts. Because if I've asked for French speaking, you can say I am French speaking, intermediate level. If I say I would like somebody who is computer survey with Microsoft ABCD, you can say I have experience in Microsoft ABCD. So align your CV to what my recruitment advert has.
Wow.
That's all I need to know. Just make sure it points out exactly what I'm looking for. 2 pages are enough. And with a good recruiter, a good HR will be able to help you do in 2 pages. Right now, computers are doing excellent things. We are able to format 1 page into 3 segments.
Yeah,
so you can do that. You can be creative. Just make it 2 pages.
Okay.
Inclusive of referrals. Yes.
2 pages na referrals up on that.
Yes. Your referees should be inclusive. And now I've seen people who are very, very, I would say canny. They tell you referrals will be provided upon request.
Demand, yeah.
Yes. Now, that is very well if you're an executive, if you're applying for an executive role. Because in executive roles, we want to have that confidentiality. People we have worked with, we don't want to expose their numbers and their contacts.
Yeah.
So you can just imagine the CEO of Safaricom, the CEO of BAT, the CEO of Unilever. Who are his referrals? Very high-profiled people. So we don't want to expose that. So he can, or they can write, in executive level, they can write that. But if it is an operational level, please rate your referrals. Because sometimes I will talk to them before I even call you for an interview.
Oh.
Just to shorten my process. Okay. I'll go to your Facebook page. That's another story for another day. But I'll find out before I see you, what kind of person are you?
Okay.
And probably I even have contacts. If you say probably I'm working at Parents, I probably know somebody at Parents. I can ask them about you even before I call you for an interview. So please write your referrals right. And ensure that your referrals know that you have sent out a CV and they're in your CV as referees. Yeah. Otherwise, I don't want to call somebody and they ask me, who's Monica? I don't know which Monica are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. So that is very embarrassing and I'll not explain, so I'll just hang up. And that's it.
So actually the third question was about referrals.
Yes.
And it seems like you've already answered the person because they were asking whether referrals are important. You've said they're very important. From whom should you sort for one? From whom should I sort for one? Because often we don't know, do I get a referral as my immediate supervisor? What if I'm not in good terms with my immediate supervisor? What if the other supervisor is too far away from me and I feel like they may not be able to give an account of who I am? Yeah. Can I give my colleague? They know work well.
Well, number one, don't give a referral of your immediate job, your current job. Don't give a referee from your current job. If you're still in your current job, don't put it in your CV. Why? If I call your current job, I'll be jeopardizing your trust levels with your current job.
They will know my leave
was for going for an interview. And as much as you're entitled to grow, you do not want to rub it on your current employer's face that I'm looking for another job. Because then the question is, which machines have you been using to look for this job? Is it your work time that you have been using to send these CVs? Is it our machines that you have been using, our Wi-Fi? So you do not want to put your integrity and your trust levels with your current employer at jeopardy. So don't put your current employer or supervisor as a referee. Now, all the other jobs, you see what they say, do not burn your bridges? Yep. That works in the job environment. So all other people you've worked with, all other companies you've worked with, it is very, very important. That's why I tell people, do not just wake up and don't report to work because you've gotten a new opportunity. You have burnt a bridge. So who will you put as a referee? Because my preferred referee is your former employer. Not your teacher, not your pastor, not your brother, not your sister, not your good neighbor, not your family property or family business that you have been working in between, not that. I'm looking for somebody who can genuinely and objectively tell me about you. And that can only be an employer who has worked with you, whether 6 months or 4 months or 5 years. I would like that. Now, sometimes you find that the HR that you had given as a referee to that company is no longer in that company. But we keep files. Okay, that's why it is important when you behave right in a company. Because if your file says that you left because of a disciplinary issue, the new HR, when I call that company, I'm not calling just a person, I'm calling the company. So whoever who is there will open their files and say, Anne left because of stealing, we fired her, and there was a cause.
Not and me.
Yes, unfortunately. Or you came to work drunk, and that's how you lost or you separated with the company.
Former employers actually tell you such things?
Yes.
Even if people apologized or maybe they changed?
Well, everybody is entitled to change, and we all make mistakes. And that's why when you come to an interview, you need to be honest. By the time I'm looking for a referral, you have probably passed the first point of your interview. I like you as a person. So I just explained, by the time I'm going to your referees, it means during your first interview or second interview, you have passed the first objective. Your skill set, your experience, everything else adds up. But now I need a background check. I need to know what kind of a person are you known for from the people who've worked with you. So a referee will tell me, so-and-so was very good, but they were always coming to work late. Or so-and-so was very good, but the reason they separated from the company is that there was a difference between the manager and herself.
So if I had told you that that had happened,
that is fine. We are very different. You know, being an employee does not mean you're always subjective to what your boss says. The reason you went to school is that your scope of thoughts expands. Yeah. So it is okay to have disagreements, but were those disagreements respectful? Yeah, did you slap or hit your boss when you disagreed? So that will come out. So if you come to my interview and tell me I separated from parents because we had a disagreement with my employee or with my employer on opinion, or during the interview I'd ask, would you care to expound what was the situation? So by the time I call them and they tell me exactly that, it means first and foremost your integrity level is very high. You're very, very honest and sincere. And so I cannot punish you for disagreeing with a former employer. Every relationship has disagreements, even marriages, even parents, so even siblings. So I cannot punish you for just having a disagreement. However, your past behavior might also be crucify you. Did you hit somebody? Were you coming to work drunk? Were you using company property inappropriately? So those are things that you should just, in your current employment, just don't do things because you think nobody is watching. Yeah.
So referrals are that important.
Yes.
In your background check, you actually do
it is very, very important, especially right now that we have people who are dishonest. And 90% of humanity is dishonest, unfortunately. Ouch. Our system has taught us to be dishonest. So you find that I stole, I resigned. Now the company has a civil case with me. So I think nobody will ever catch me at it. So if I'm a banker and I'm looking for a job, they will call my previous banking employer. So if I stole, they'll say, oh, by the way, we have a civil case. They will mention it. They will not say that you're guilty. They will not say that it is true. They will say, you left the company, we have a case. Now, it's for me as a new employer to decide, is that worth employing you? Is that a risk I want to take?
Risk?
Yes, is it worth the risk? Depending on also your expertise. Sometimes your expertise are too what we call this, critical. That only maybe 2 in 5 people have it, or 2 in 10 people, or 2 in 100 people. So probably I may think maybe it's worth it, but then I'll keep an eye.
Careful.
Yes, the systems they will use, I'll make sure I whatever them, I keep an eye on them. So referees are very important. I cannot undertone the importance of referees. And that also involves social media. Okay,
like you'll go into somebody's social media to check for who they are before you employ them.
Yeah, they say you're in your best character when you think nobody sees you. Yeah. So if, for example, I'm not only talking about corporates, I'm talking about NGOs, I'm talking about the government. If they want to employ you, the first thing they do is, what have you spoken about this government? What are your thoughts?
We are here signing petitions.
What are you talking about? We have somebody who lost an appointment.
Yeah.
Because of a social media post. People are now sensitive about who we are behind the scenes.
Okay.
So if you're going to be my executive manager, probably you're going to be front office manager to a certain company. And your social media is all about you being drunk and being in bikinis and being slapped and, and all that. I probably don't want to put your face as the face of my company.
Ouch.
You see? So companies are very, very sensitive right now on what we call feeder jobs. You see, there's corporate jobs and then we have feeder jobs. Feeder jobs are what millennials are going for right now. The social media influencers. You want to push a brand. And if you want to push a brand, your personal social media handles are very, very important. Eric Omondi the other day said that he lost some contracts because of whatever else he was pushing. So it's the same as corporates. We do not want a brand that is wrong to represent us.
Hiya. Thank you very much for listening in. We can have more of this if you have any more questions. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time on Ask the Experts. Thank you very much, Jess.
You're most welcome. Anytime,